like surprises necessarily, but you know what? I'm doing this. Yes, I consent to trying any type of food. No guarantees that it'll stay down. No, are you serious? But you know, depends on how bad this is.
The worst thing you could do is like if someone says to you, oh, I really want to try Korean food. I already know what they're thinking. They're probably thinking like Korean barbecue with all the meat.
Everyone is sitting around the table sweating and dying of meat sweats because they tried to shove as much Korean barbecue into their stomachs.
So the worst thing you can do is like someone like that and then take them to like a tofu shop because that's not what they were thinking about.
If there's a memorable moment, that would probably be one of them.
If you want to learn anything about a culture, you can definitely do that by enjoying their food, their cuisine, and learning a little bit about their language. I mean, this is the one that I grew up on, so I'm gonna have to make you try these. As you can see, there's like a huge assortment of them. Let me show you what aisle not to go to, okay? Hold on. Like, don't go to this aisle. We know what this stuff is already. You can go to Ralph's for this or Vaughn's or whatever, but if you're gonna go to the Korean market, go get the shrimp chips. Oh, I have to show you something. When you're a kid growing up Korean American, of course, you don't have any choice of what you get to choose for buying. So what do? You make your own entertainment. Here's the best part of going to a Korean market. And you sit there and you look at the things and you try to see if they're really alive. And then sometimes you get like the tongs and you kind of touch them. This is what we do when we have no toys to play with. Here is the reason why I wanted to come to this market of these. Anybody who's Korean will know, it's like, oh yeah, you have to eat this. This one here is called gimbap. And then they're like mochi, but we call them tok. These foods are very, very traditional, very, very important. You will see them at every event where it's just like a get together, a picnic, a wedding, or whatever, a birthday. Kids always love it. You can always depend that there's gonna be some grandmother or like mom is gonna be making some of these gimbap and bringing it to your event. And you can chow down on that before the main course comes out. So in case you arrive really, really hungry, this is the go-to food. No.
Take this one.
I pay.
No, take this one.
Seriously, you're gonna make me like shame my whole country. Hi, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Jen.
My day job is a systems engineer for a semiconductor company.
I am a legal entities manager by day.
By night, I'm a professional musician.
I am a musician by weekend / some weeknights.
And I would say that if you want to learn anything about a culture, you can definitely do that by enjoying their food, their cuisine, and learning a little bit about their language.
So Korean food's not really my thing necessarily, but I'm hoping that David will change my mind, or I'm open for it to be changed, so David better be good.
But we are going to eat some major Korean food. So Jen, I hope you brought your eating pants today.
My stretchy pants? Hell yeah.
So this is gimbap, and I guess most people who are not familiar with it might say it looks like sushi or like a California roll. It can have, doesn't have raw fish in it. Daikon radish, we call danmuji, is very common. Egg, imitation crab, carrot, but you certainly can put meat in it or other kinds of different types of cut up vegetables and all this. But this is very traditional. Just brings you back home. Oh, there you go. It's pretty.
I'm excited.
Oh, yours looks better. Man, I'm gonna have another one.
Yeah, it's just like the Japanese futomaki. In Japan, they'll put like freshwater eel in it sometimes, but they have the egg, and they'll put, instead of carrot, it'll be the gobo root.
And then the outside is actually roasted seaweed. You know, all the kids are just waiting for it, you know, because it's a way to eat something, and if you're gonna have like, you know, a barbecue afterwards, it's a great snack so you're not starving while you're smelling all this like food getting cooked up. Okay, this is tok. I don't know anybody who doesn't like tok in any Korean household. Out of all the tok, these are like my favorite. I love these. But the reason why I chose this one is because when I was younger, you'd eat a tok like this, and inside it'll have like a filling. Sometimes it'll have like a red bean or something. All of these are gonna be a little sweet, not overly sweet. Like I think Asian foods in general, like they don't get overly sweet. Not like,
it's usually light.
Whenever I saw this as a little kid, I always thought that was like American cake, and I was expecting it to be like cake, but it's duck. It's just mochi. It's like mochi. So yeah.
Is there something in the middle of it?
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should bite it, huh? A little sweet.
It's like sesame.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can see why. Did yours have sesame in it too?
Yep.
It's like corn or chestnut? What is
Yeah,
this?
that might be
I
like
think
red
chestnut.
bean. Oh, you see a chestnut in there? See? The chef is here.
So this is basically like a combination of like, well, it's basically that, but like this is pounded down and that's not. Mmm, chestnutty. Like you can really taste. I keep wanting to say kuri because that's what it is Japanese. Kuri?
All right, here we go. The one that always would fake me out. I'd always think, look, like that's obviously chocolate, right? Let's start with the coconut side. Let's see if that really.
And strawberry, lavender. That's really interesting. Because your brain's like, it's bread, but then your mouth's like, it's not. Mochi bread.
Right.
It doesn't taste like anything, but
I don't know.
I think it would taste really good with like a sauce of some sort.
We have to eat shrimp chips.
Shrimp chips!
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I grew up on this
I'm
one
so
too.
glad you said that
Yeah.
because I totally grew up on this. There's like a lot of Korean snacks or a lot of like
I
snacks in the
mean-
Korean market, but I grew up on this. So I had to bring some.
As kids, though, it didn't really help me make friends.
Right? They're a little.
Because it doesn't smell bad.
Right.
It smells like shrimp chips.
Oh yeah, there's the smell. Shrimpy. What's the food that you really wanted to try?
I really wanted to try the Korean fried chicken because everyone's like, oh, it's all about the Korean fried chicken. I'm like, all right, we'll probably go try it today.
No, that's a fail.
Are we David?
We talked about
You know
this.
what? David just ruined my dreams.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I quit.
I specifically just chose not to include that today because while it's very, very popular, it's super delicious. I love it. I didn't grow up on it. So I wanted to choose only those foods that like really mean a lot to me
Oh,
throughout my whole childhood.
No, I'm kidding. I'm totally
This is Maso! There is a song called Arirang, and it's very, very important to Korean people. It's not the national anthem, but we kind of consider it like that. And I would love it, Jen, if you would sing a portion of that with me. Arirang is one of these songs where it's like, we grew up hearing that all the time. It tends to pull on the heartstrings of people that like, it's so meaningful. So yeah, that would be cool if I taught you at least one line of this song. So the words are Arirang, okay, and then the third word is Arario, Arario. Okay, so let's just do the first line.
Wait, can I hear it? Like,
Yeah. Arirang, Arirang. Okay, let's do that part together, okay?
Okay.
Okay, one. 시작. Arirang, Arirang. Okay, good, awesome. The last word of that part of the phrase is Arario. So let's try that all together.
Helpful.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this,
Actually,
okay?
that is helpful. Okay.
Go Arario. Gero. Araro. Oh, it's perfect pronunciation. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was Korean in my past life.
Dude, let's do it one more time. It's like 99% there.
I was just
Dude, this is so
following his hand.
and I'm feeling goosebumps. This is gonna make my mom so proud. This is awesome. Let's just sing it nice and proudly, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Arirang, Arirang, Arario. Arirang, 고개로 넘어간다.
나를 버리고 가시는 님은 심리도 못 가서 발병 난다.
So a little detour. We were gonna go to Jinjaru for some jjajangmyeon, which is the Korean black bean noodle dish. It's closed on Sundays, but wouldn't you know it, right across the street there is a noodle house. This one's called Kyodong Jampong or Kyodong Noodle. They have jjajangmyeon on the menu, so let's give it a shot. This is called jjajangmyeon, black bean noodle, and I grew up with this food, so that's why it's important for me to share this with you. It's not like the fanciest Korean dish, but it's so important to anyone who's you know, grew up in a Korean household, you probably ate tons of this. This is like what I like to say, the macaroni and cheese of like the American household. Any Korean person, when they see this type of food, this jjajangmyeon, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, let's dig in. So it's a noodle dish. It's a black bean paste with onions and different vegetables, and the noodles are in there, so we'll just mix it up, and I'll serve you guys a little dish of that. Jjajangmyeon. Let's try it.
This is really good. Oh yeah, I could eat this all the time. Ooh, there's like a potato in there.
Yeah, that's the part I really like, actually.
It's like a surprise.
It's like a cool little texture there. We love to eat this. It's not, as I said, it's not the fanciest food, but this is like, what do you call that? Like creature comfort, like very home feeling food. But of course, mom makes it best. So an Americanized way of saying this is black bean noodle soup. Or we just say jjajangmyeon.
I like it. It's really good. I'm learning new things.
Here's a question for you. Do you ever slurp your noodle?
Yes. Yes, like ramen.
Totally appropriate.
Soba. Yeah.
Totally appropriate
Oh
to be
my gosh.
slurping your noodles
I
today.
remember I was in, I think, high school. Went over to a friend's house. It was her and her little sister. We made top ramen because it was like afternoon after school. And so we're eating it, and I was slurping. Did not realize
Yep.
that wasn't normal.
That's awesome.
And the sister just sat there and just stared at me, and she's like, "Do you like your soup?" I was like, "It's delicious. How about you?" And she just like was so distracted. And then I realized it was because I was slurping, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like, this isn't normal. Like, not everyone slurps their noodles, but that's how you're supposed to eat them.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's like in the Korean culture, there's two things that we do that probably would be considered very inappropriate at other households. It's like, if you slurp your food and you make a lot of noises when you eat, it kind of signals to the chef that you really enjoy it.
Really like it,
you know?
yeah.
If you like really don't like some food, you're like barely gonna be touching it. You're kind of like
Kind of eat it quietly.
without that gusto, you know. And so another thing that Koreans do is they'll be freely burp, you know, at the table, and that really tells the chef, like, wow, compliment to the chef. It's so delicious that I just like was eating tons of it, and now I'm burping it up, and it's, you know, so.
Interesting. Feel free to belch,
right.
basically.
It's the way to do it.
All right, well, I'm waiting to hear your burping.
Slurp your noodle. Let's hear it. Do it for the camera. Excellent. I love it. This one, I only got this because this is also really important from my childhood. I grew up eating this. This is called tansuyuk. It's basically sweet and sour pork. This is kind of like Chinese, Korean fusion type of food. Usually I would eat this with rice, and like a lot of other maybe Asian cultured rice, you know, is a big deal. Yeah, just look at that. Beautifully fried and hopefully nice and crunchy. Nice crunch. What can I say? It's one of my favorite foods. It's delicious.
There isn't too many spices on it, but there is some kind of spice on it. It's a very like good snack food. Like I could just, it's like popcorn, shrimp, but with pork.
I don't know. It's like maybe it's double fried. I think they would fry it, and they would put like that potato flour or something. This is satisfying crunch.
It's actually what makes French fries crunchy.
Really? Potato starch?
Yeah, it sounds kind of redundant, right? Putting potato starch on potatoes,
Right.
but it's how you get a good tater tot. Cheers.
I'm gonna eat. Now we're gonna go into the Korean cultural lesson. And I'm gonna teach you guys how to play this. It's a very, 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 very popular game. I'm sure everyone, you know, knows about Korean culture will know what this game is. It's called gonggi. It's basically Korean jacks. I'm pretty terrible at it. Just to give you a fair warning, I'm going to demonstrate. I'll tell you how to play it. You grab all the jacks and then you toss them. The object of the game is you pick up one and you have to throw one up in the air and then grab one. You start with one and then you have to catch the one you threw up in the air. So I'll try doing it. Yeah, so I'll try. Okay, that's one. You have to do with the rest of these. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's round one. Woo! So next one. Now you have to do them in twos. And you see, it's very important how I toss that. So then you do the same thing and you have to grab them 2 at a time. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. Now you have to do 3. You have to be good at grabbing all 3 of these. So, okay, there we go. I can't believe I got this far. I'm so close, so close. Oh yes, okay. Now here's the big finale. You actually have to toss these up in the air and catch them all on the back of your hand.
What?
Yeah.
All of them?
Yes, all of them. Now I'm gonna try.
Have done this before?
Yeah.
Have you done this before?
It's been done a few times, I heard.
All right, let's see.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna try my best, but this is the part where I fail. Okay, I got 3. Okay, here. Okay, and this is not even when it's done. Now you have to throw them up there and catch them again.
With your palm?
Yes, and here's another trick. You have to keep your palm facing down. So here, let me try this. Oh, I caught 0 of them. In the most hardcore rule, you actually have to catch them all of them on the back of your hand, and then you have to catch them all. And only if you do all of that, you get points. And you're gonna wanna make sure that they're the nice, okay, do that again. Don't worry, the whole world, one more time. Oh!
One, just one. Like her.
Oh.
And then you...
Oh, that's...
Yeah, you got that one. Oh. Thank you. I was raised by my grandmother. In Korean, we say halmoni, so there's probably a lot of like Korean people say shout outs to all the halmonis out there.
I grew up with a sushi chef father. They would invite me over for dinner and I would go because dad went fishing and he got a bunch of fish and he filleted it and saw this beautiful sashimi platter and I was like, this is great.
Everyone knows the Asian grandmothers, like they can just go to your cupboard and whip out huge, amazing dishes and all I see in there is cereal.
People are like, Jen, that's not normal. I was like, your dad doesn't go fishing and then fillet it into nice sashimi slices for you?
Do you like K-pop?
I don't really know any K-pop, except for... David's got it down. You don't need me, man.
No, I mean, okay, I like actually traditional Korean music.
BTS, that's it. They're catchy. Yeah, isn't it?
When people get in my car, I bump the whole samulnori. Like, samulnori is like Korean traditional music, consists of 4 drums, everyone's sitting on the floor, like dancing. It's like, hey, yo, ho,
Do people ever request K-pop music or J-pop? Yeah, sure, because, you know, I'm Asian, so they automatically assume that I know how to sing in all languages, which I'm working on, you know, because being a musician, you don't ever want to say no. It's like an actor, right? Can you do this? Sure, yeah, I'll do it.
I actually had to give dancing lessons to that one because everyone's like, oh, David, you're Korean, teach us Gangnam Style. And I literally, every get-together was like, you know, like, David, can you teach us that dance? I'm like, okay. Yeah, everyone's like, David, I want nobody but you. Yeah, I would say most people when they think of Korean food definitely think of Korean barbecue. We're at my favorite K-BBQ place. This is day number 2, Chosun Kalbi in K-Town. Alright, so it's a full-service Korean barbecue. That's why they keep coming to tend to our grill, which I love that they always prepare the food for us. And they cut up our samgyeopsal, which is our beautiful pork here. Oh, they're coming back. Chame soju. I don't drink, but I got this for you guys because it's like hard to eat Korean barbecue without your favorite soju. And there's like so many different types of soju, but I was just recommending this for you guys because it's the most common one, and if you haven't had this yet, you should always start with this one. From what people tell me, I have no idea. But I will pour you because you are my guests of honor, and I want the honor of being able to serve you guys. So
It's okay, I'll drink for him.
yeah. Boom. 2. And it's like a very common thing to eat with Korean barbecue. Eating a lot of meats and stuff like that, maybe a little bit filling or oily or whatever it is, and you're gonna want to have something like this to kind of cut through it, and it's somehow very, very satisfying. From what I hear.
Cheers!
Is that a big sip or not?
Yeah, save some for later.
I know,
Yeah,
I was
you have a
just
whole
like,
bottle.
stop
Oh
drinking.
yeah. These little dishes, we call them banchan. Banchan basically just means like little dish. They're like basically little appetizers. You can eat them with your food or you can eat them before the food comes out to have something to munch on. But what's really cool about this place is if you notice, they have 8 one of these dishes. And 8, for those who are Asian out there knows, it's a very, very important number. 8, it's like, it's a good luck number. And they brought 8 here. Like if you go to a Korean restaurant and they only give you like 3, it's like, like only 3. And the number of dishes they put out it's kind of like it shows you how much they're like honoring their guests. There is one thing I want to show though. This. So this is called sangchu. It's a way that I eat my Korean food, and it's gonna be a fun little thing I'm gonna show you. It's very interactive, and it's a little treat. And so I'll save that for later for now. Right now we're waiting for our food to cook. We're getting hungry, extremely hungry, so I chose the dishes that are very important for me growing up as a Korean American here and eating grandma's food and all that. The two meat dishes I got, one was galbi. I have to have galbi when I go to Korean barbecues. And then I got samgyeopsal, which is the like Korean bacon, we can say. The other dishes I got, this one here, is called kimchi jjigae. The very important thing here is oh, I just noticed they have duck. This is called duck. It's kind of like similar to the same thing we ate last time, which was like red bean filled mochi balls type thing. But this is very important. Oh, yeah, naengmyeon. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. The very important thing I love about duck is this is a very traditional food. We eat this on every New Year, like Lunar New Year, and it signifies that if you're eating this, it means that you've lived another year. This is called naengmyeon. Yeah, this is a cold noodle soup. Very, very good for like the hot summer days. The noodles are so deliciously chewy. So you'll see that when you start eating it, you'll be like, oh, it's hard to chew through the noodles. I love that, you know.
Very refreshing. Chewy a little bit, but I like chewy noodles. Got like a slight sweetness to it, but like, and then yeah, you can taste the vinegar. Oh, that's my favorite. The Asian pear.
Next dish is called dosot bibimbap. It's also a safe dish to get because they have to present their vegetables really nicely on the rice, so they will always use their freshest, best cut of vegetables. So it's a really nice dish to get. This one is the dosot bibimbap, which means it's in a stone bowl. So it's gonna be very, very hot. Now, one of the things that I always have to warn people is like when you're at a Korean restaurant, don't reach for food too much because if your arm gets on like one of these really, really hot stones, it's gonna burn you.
So this is the bottom of the not the barrel, what is it called? Stone thing? Bowl, that's it. And it's the crispy part, and this is supposed to be the best part. So the lady came back and gave it to us. I want to say it was just for me, but everyone else has it. But very yum.
All right, here's the treat. Of course, feel free to eat the food any way you want with a piece of cucumber kimchi, Brussels sprouts, I've never seen that, pickled radish, mashed potatoes, Korean pancakes, these egg pancakes, bean sprouts, of course kimchi.
Kimchi.
Koreans always say they can't eat a meal without kimchi.
And I'm not a fan of it.
It's the number one, absolute most important food.
I feel like they put kimchi in everything.
It's an essential.
So I hope it's not overloaded with kimchi.
We eat that with everything.
No, are you serious? I specifically told you no kimchi.
So here's the way I'm gonna show you that we have to eat. This is called sangchu. This is a very traditional way of eating it. You put some rice, one piece of samgyeopsal, a piece of raw garlic, this sauce, which is called samjang, and the rule is you have to eat this in one bite. So I'll go gentle on myself. You have to put the whole thing in you have to eat the whole thing. And so it'll lead to having part of it out of your mouth. It's a rule, you have to eat in one bite.
This is Jenn sized. All right, how are we gonna build this?
Nice.
Piece of onion. Oh my god, even the smallest ones are gonna fit in my mouth.
Yeah.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Do it. Okay. In Southern California, I think there are like 3 Koreatowns with a large population of Korean people. Koreatown number 1 is actually K-Town in Los Angeles. I just heard them reference like that. The K-Town number 1 is definitely the one in LA, and that's where I think most people would be familiar with. But there are actually 2 other Koreatowns. The Hannam Market that we went to, that was like Buena Park, and that's definitely a K-Town. And I think the other one is Garden Grove. Both my parents had full-time jobs. My mom actually had 3 jobs. She was a nurse. She worked at 3 different hospitals. She didn't really come home till really, really late. So I was pretty much raised by my grandmother. That'll resonate with a lot of Korean Americans. That a lot of the same situation happened. You know, immigrants would come. They have to make ends meet. Parents would be like out all the time, and it was at the time where like, you know, we had to fend for ourselves. But us Korean people, it's very important because we respect our elders. Like your grandmother lives with you, you know, and she took care of me, and so I was eating a lot of her food. But my mom definitely, when she was home, you know, especially when we had like a family event or something, like like relatives would come visit or something, then she would definitely cook up, and it was an amazing meal always. So, and as we always say, nothing beats mom's food, right? All right, one thing I forgot to mention regarding the little dishes, the banchan. The one cool thing about banchan is it's unlimited. So if there's a particular dish you like, you can keep ordering. It's absolutely free. That's amazing. So all the 8 dishes of banchan here, you just keep asking for more once you eat it. So feel free to gorge on them. They'll keep coming. Did I change Jen's mind?
So after trying the different foods that Dave showed us,
Well, I would think that I definitely opened her mind to the whole experience.
have I changed my mind? Yes and no.
I'm sure I introduced dishes that she had never tried before.
I don't know if it's something that I would necessarily be sitting there one day and be like, oh, I crave Korean food.
My favorite thing was that we had a great time.
But if anybody was down for it, I would definitely go and I would recommend it, and I would probably have a better idea of what I want to order.
We invited our friend Jimmy. They never met before. We're all friends now. We had great conversation, and to me that was the best thing about just bonding over the whole Korean meal with the foods there and learning about the culture. And so I definitely think she enjoyed that.
So maybe the cravings will be there, but definitely had a great experience. It was really good. I was a little nervous going into it, but definitely will go again, especially if David's showing us. So
Some advice that I would give, I would say, whatever interest you have in Korean culture, whether it be you're a foodie, you're into K-beauty, or you're into K-pop, it's really easy to get enamored by the whole image around that part of the Korean culture, but behind that image there's a very rich culture. There's a lot of people, a lot of different types of people, a lot of fun people to be around, and things to learn about just the traditions behind those aspects of the Korean culture. Putting a little effort into learning about that, it definitely exposes a lot of the very beautiful things about Korean culture. And I was hoping during this episode that I was trying to get that kind of angle, which is, you know, enjoy these wonderful foods but they were very true and near and dear to my heart, and spoke a lot about my upbringing around the Korean culture. And so I hope I was able to bring that out of all these wonderful things that we experienced.